The previous episode of Days of Our Lives saw Julie supporting Jeremy. On the other hand, Marlena confided in Belle. Meanwhile, Jennifer questioned Chad. Stephanie and Alex were shaken by a sudden development in the whole stalker case. And then, last but not least, Jada updated Steve. From surprising news and romance to confrontations and final plans, the audience has plenty to look forward to on the soap opera. Here's what fans can expect from the upcoming week on Days of Our Lives when they tune into Peacock to stream the daytime drama revolving around Salem, Illinois. Monday, January 26th, 26. The first episode of the week sees Kat and Rafe pondering their respective cases. What will the two decide to do next? EJ lays into Gwen. Is this about her recent choices? Kristen puts Sarah on notice. Is this related to Brady or Rachel? Johnny and Chanel enjoy some romance. How long will this last? Tuesday, January 27th, 2026. The bones found in the DiMera Crypt are identified. Are these Stefano's? Kristen rejects EJ's sympathy. Is this going to fuel their rivalry even further? Chad withholds information from Theo, but why exactly? Paulina worries about Chanel. Is this about her pregnancy? Lastly, Abe works with Liam. Wednesday, January 28th, 2026, Kayla and Marlena celebrate milestones. What could it be? Johnny asks Kate about a business matter. Will he get some intel or advice from her? Alex, Stephanie, Jada, and Steve finalize a plan to catch the stalker. But will it work? Rafe delivers disturbing news to Abe. Is this about Theo? Thursday, January 29th, 26. When Chanel reaches out to Sophia, what will this lead to? Gabby warns Ari. What could it be about? Jennifer promises to help Chad. Is this about the kids or something else? Will he agree to it? Elsewhere, Johnny gives good news to Bonnie. Is this actually about Chanel and her pregnancy? Friday, January 30th, 26. The final episode of the week features Marlena putting Xander on notice. How will he react to it? Sarah is honest with Brady. Is this about Rachel or their romance? Kristen and Belle try to prep Rachel, while Leo tries to get Dimitri out of his head. And then lastly, Gwen goes on the offensive. Belle greets Marlena in the morning and asks how the book club was. Not good. She couldn't find the words to share her feelings and was embarrassed. Belle tells her mom to give herself a break, and Marlena claims to hear her, but that's not the first time she's claimed that in the last few months. That allegedly solved, though, they get to talking about Brady and what's next for Basic Black. Belle suggests Marlena could join and at least provide input on behalf of the family. Marlena will think about it. Then Belle finally checks her messages and gets the rundown on Jeremy. Jennifer and Chad commiserate over Jeremy, but they have more pressing matters with Thomas, who, Jen says, needs more than just Chad's word. Not that she doesn't trust him, heaven forbid, but they have to revisit the terms to make Thomas feel better. No, you don't. But Jennifer twists the knife and says this isn't about Kat, just helping Thomas to trust his father again. Chad agrees to talk to his son, but tells his in-laws to butt out, or he'll take them to court. Then Thomas joins them, and Chad sits him down to talk. The kid wants stuff to be back the way they were, including Mom. That's understandable, but Thomas needs to stop threatening to move away every time Chad does something he doesn't like. But Chad will do what he needs to earn his trust back. He offers to put his promise into writing to stay away from Kat. Julie's been at the police station all night, demanding that Jeremy be released, but Jada's not budging. After going off on a conflict of interest in having either of Jeremy's cousins interrogate them, she declares that if Jeremy is a danger to her best friend, he will be brought to justice. So, conflict of interest for thee, not for me, eh, Jada? Julie insists that since Jeremy was about to leave Salem, he's not a threat to anyone. Jada, unsurprisingly, thinks the opposite. Melinda gets to the interrogation room, hired by Jeremy. Julie suggested her since, he's being accused of trying to kill Justin's son, so he's out as a lawyer. Jeremy gives her a rundown of what's happening, swearing he's being set up. Melinda suggests they just wait it out. They've got nothing and just want a confession from him. He has nothing to confess. Jada joins them, and Jeremy gives his statement. He didn't stalk her, write messages about her, threaten Alex, take photos, or create that website. Jada counters by demanding the truth. He did it, now confess. But Melinda calls her bluff, so Jada just storms out, warning him not to leave town. Julie greets Jeremy with a hug, but she may be just about the only one who believes in him. Alex and Stephanie are in shock that Jeremy made that creepy website about her. Then Papa wakes up and joins them. Steve's not going anywhere. Jada can't arrest Jeremy just yet, only question him. Plus, until they prove he's the stalker, there's still a threat. Jeremy could have been framed. Jada visits with the news that they couldn't hold Jeremy. They just didn't have enough. Also, she spotted a box outside the door, so Steve checks it out while they watch with the intensity of a bomb countdown getting close to 00. Julie rushes to Marlena's to tell Belle that she believes very deeply that Jeremy's not responsible for these things. Well then, case closed. But when Julie brings up Jada telling Jeremy not to leave, Belle explains that that wasn't an order. He'd just look suspicious if he did. Chad calls Melinda to ask her to adjust the mediation agreement for Thomas, then tells the kid to meet him in the middle. Salem's a small town, so he's probably going to bump into Kat at some point. The note from Stephanie's box says it's an engagement gift from EJ. It looks like it's a picture frame. But then we see someone listening to their conversation at that very moment. It's bugged, and not from EJ. So he hears when Alex offers to be the bait again. Next week on Days of Our Lives, Salem is full of tension and surprises. E.J. DiMera comes home with shocking news. The bones found in the DiMera family crypt belong to Stefano DiMera. This discovery closes a long-standing mystery for the DiMera family, but it also raises new questions. Who buried Stefano? Why wasn't he given a proper burial? The family must face these questions. New secrets are sure to surface. At the same time, Steve Johnson works to protect Stephanie Johnson from her stalker. He sets a plan to catch the stalker by sending a gift as bait. However, the gift is bugged. The stalker hears everything and stays one step ahead. This puts Stephanie and Alex Kyriakis in danger. Steve and the group must change their approach. They need a new plan fast. With old enemies back and threats growing, Salem is in for a tense week. The fight to keep loved ones safe takes center stage. Suspense and surprises await. E.J. DiMera returns to Salem. Rafe Hernandez meets him with important news. The bones found in the DiMera crypt belong to Stefano DiMera. This confirms what many suspected, but also raises new questions. Stefano's final resting place was a secret until now. The family must come to terms with this shocking truth. Stefano's past is complicated. Years ago, he was believed dead, but somehow survived through a mind transfer to Steve Johnson. That ended when the chip was destroyed. Now, Stefano's actual remains have been found. This changes the family's story. EJ and the DiMeras face new challenges. Who buried Stefano and why? The mystery is far from over. This discovery will affect the family's future in Salem. The truth will come out slowly, causing tension and uncertainty. Steve Johnson sets a plan in motion to catch Stephanie's stalker. He sends a picture frame, apparently from EJ, to Stephanie and Alex as bait. But unknown to Steve, the gift is bugged. The stalker listens to every word and watches every move. This puts the plan at risk and Stephanie in greater danger. Once Steve and the group discover the bug, they decide to play along. They plan to feed the stalker false information to trap them. Meanwhile, Stephanie and Alex grow more anxious but stay determined. The stalker is clever and always one step ahead, making the cat-and-mouse game tense. Steve's strategy is risky, but it may be their best chance to stop the threat and protect Stephanie. Stephanie and Alex receive a suspicious gift that contains monitoring devices. This is used to stay informed about their plans and activities. Jeremy Horton becomes the prime suspect, but he is determined to prove his innocence. Alex is skeptical to some extent, which complicates the case for him. Stephanie is still in danger. Her former kidnapper, Owen Kent, is back on the scene. He is obsessed with her as before. Thus, the kidnapping case repeats itself in the series. Now the situation gets serious for everyone. Her family is in the same fearful situation as before, because the obsessed follower gets more courageous. Days of Our Lives. Spoilers for the week of Monday, January 26th to Friday, January 30th. Reveal: Dr. Wilhelm Ruffel has a breakthrough. Meanwhile, E.J. DiMera gets news. Plus, is Steve Johnson slipping? Here's what you need to know. First, Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal Dr. Ruffel does it again. Gwen Rizchek will meet with him and learn the rats have been revived. She's clearly surprised and impressed, but was there really any doubt? Dr. Rolf is a lot of things, but a failure is not one of them. He's pulled so many medical miracles before, it's a wonder people still call him a quack in that town. Elsewhere, the DiMera family is about to get some closure. EJ will learn from Rafe Hernandez that the bones found in the crypt belong to his father. We're, for one, cautiously optimistic. When Susan Banks started her talk about Stefano DiMera and Marlena Evans had those dreams, we feared the worst. But it looks like instead of resurrecting the character, the writers are finally putting any question of his potential survival to rest. We think anything else would be a disrespect to the character and the actor. Plus, it will allow the DiMera family to gather and honor him, something we're sure fans of the character will love. Plus, some have pointed out how fitting all this as Duel has been celebrating a huge anniversary. In other news, is Steve slipping or setting a trap? Days of Our Lives spoilers indicate we couldn't believe he handled that package that arrived unexpectedly with bare hands. Not only could it have been contaminated and posed a risk to them all, but if it was a gift from the stalker, Steve contaminated the evidence. We know now that the picture frame is allowing the stalker to hear everything they're saying. Did Steve really mess up that bad? Or is he setting a trap? In the promo, he's discussing a plan to catch the stalker while the stalker is listening. We'd like to give Steve credit, but we have our doubts. The winter preview showed the stalker abducting Stephanie Johnson, so the odds are in favor of them actually buying that was a gift from EJ. Days of Our Lives. Spoilers for Monday, January 26th. Reveal: Kristen DiMera makes herself clear. Meanwhile, EJ DiMera in Not a Happy Man. Plus, we'll get a little romance to lighten things up. Here's what you need to know. First, Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal Kristen puts Sarah Horton on notice. We seriously hope this is not more of Kristen obsessing over Brady Black. She did tell Brady before she has no illusions about getting back together, but we just don't trust any dual writers when it comes to her and Brady. It's been going on for too long. Hopefully, she's putting Sarah on notice in regards to Rachel Black. We said before we think it's a bad idea for Brady to start a romance right now with Rachel in the state she's in. We hope Kristen is just as against the idea, or at least would rather Sarah stay away from her daughter. After all, Rachel was triggered into acting out when she saw Brady and Sarah hug. So, we can see her being worried about Sarah being in the picture and what Rachel might do if she learns there's a romance beginning. Elsewhere, EJ appears to be back in Salem. Days of Our Lives spoilers tease he lays into Gwen Rizchek. As he should. Dmitry von Luschner being back puts them both at risk for prosecution, as EJ helped disappear Dmitry. Not to mention what the loss of the von Luschner fortune could mean for their project. We expect Gwen to be defiant and argue this was the only way to keep Leo Stark out of their business. And it's definitely worked, as Leo has definitely been distracted. Plus, he even entertained the idea of keeping quiet if Gwen made Dmitry disappear again. She'll probably argue that she and EJ can come up with a way to deal with Dmitry, but the biggest issue is likely not a worry anymore. Finally, it's been tense between Johnny DiMera and Chanel Dupree of late. Now that they've finally made peace, they're ready to enjoy some romance. We'll see if they actually succeed, or if there will be interruptions, especially if they didn't have someone take the baby first. Days of Our Lives has an exciting week ahead with the upcoming drama, with several exciting storylines taking seat front and center stage. First and foremost is the Alex and Stephanie drama, where the couple was somewhat relieved when they found out that Jeremy was taken in for questioning. However, the cliffhanger of the week revealed a secret mic delivered to their home in a picture frame, which was now being used to snoop in on their conversations. It's clear that the threat is far from over, and the couple needs to be on the lookout for their safety in the upcoming week. Additionally, Sophia continues to enact her plan by manipulating and using Rachel, even though the two are forbidden from communicating with each other. The upcoming week might find her plan coming to fruition as well. The tense and shocking developments on Days of Our Lives just took a step up in the upcoming week from January 26th to 30th and 26th. Kat and Rafe have been out investigating the Crypt kidnappings, with Rafe in Alemania and Kat trying to infiltrate EJ's lab, and the upcoming episode will find them pondering over their respective cases. The next week, it appears, we'll finally find EJ returning on Days of Our Lives, who will lay into Gwen over everything that has going on in Salem. On the other side, Kristen puts Sarah on notice. This might have something to do with the fact that Brady recently approached Kristen about talking to Rachel and revealing his relationship with Sarah. Kristen did not react well to that conversation, and she might be warning Sarah to stay in her lane. On a brighter note, Johnny and Chanel enjoy some romantic time on Days of Our Lives. There will finally be some progress in the Crypt kidnappings case as the bones in the crypt are identified. How this will affect Kat and Rafe's investigations, only time will tell. The episode will also find Kristen rejecting EJ's sympathy when Chad is withholding some information from Theo. Paulina, who was once completely on Chanel's side, will also find herself worrying about her health, per the episode spoilers. At the same time, Abe is working with Liam on Days of Our Lives. Per the spoilers for this Days of Our Lives episode, Marlena and Kayla will both be celebrating certain milestones, while Johnny will consult Kate regarding a business matter. This consultation might have something to do with the plan that Kay had concocted for Johnny. On the other side, Alex, Stephanie, Jada, and Steve will finally be making moves to create a plan to catch Stephanie's stalker once and for all. Whether they still consider Jeremy the stalker or hope to find someone else responsible, only time will tell. Rafe also has some disturbing news in store. Nisku for Abe. In the Thursday episode of Days of Our Lives, Chanel will be reaching out to Sophia. Sophia has been blinded by her chaotic plans recently, so it is unclear if Chanel reaching out to her will affect her for the worse or the better. Gabby will also be warning Ari about some danger. On a brighter note, Jennifer promises to help Chad. This is likely about helping him get closer to Thomas and rebuild the father-son bond that had been lost. Johnny also has some good news for Bonnie, and this might mean that Johnny could be stepping face first into Kate's plans for him. The final episode of the week will find Marlena putting Xander on notice, while Sarah is finally honest with Brady. The Days of Our Lives episode will also find Kristen and Belle trying to prep Rachel. Dimitri might be on the rocks in the final episode of the week, as Gwen goes on the offense, while Leo tries to get him out of his head after Javi's departure to Texas. The upcoming week on Days of Our Lives is set to be filled to the brim with drama, with EJ set to return, and Alex and Stephanie going on the offensive against their stalker. Days of Our Lives. Spoilers for the week of January 26 to 30 reveal that Gwen has a serious conversation with Dr. Rolfe. "We brought the brats back to life," she tells him. EJ returns to Salem and gets shocking news from Rafe. "You know who the bones belong to?" EJ asks him. "The bones belong to your father," Rafe replies. Steve comes up with a plan to lure Stephanie's stalker out. "He will definitely show up for this," he says, unaware the stalker is listening. "We'll make sure he sees an opportunity to get Stephanie alone, and that's when we'll nab him." Meanwhile, Rafe makes a shocking revelation to Abe. "But it looks like the man you're tutoring may have helped kidnap your son," he points out. Elsewhere, Gwen asks a question to a mystery caller on the phone. "Do you still hate the von Loechners as much as you used to?" she asks. "More," the voice on the other end replies. Kat and Rafe ponder their respective cases. EJ lays into Gwen. Kristen puts Sarah on notice. Johnny and Chanel enjoy some romance. The bones found in the DiMera crypt are identified. Kristen rejects EJ's sympathy. Chad withholds information from Theo. Paulina worries about Chanel. Abe works with Liam. Kayla and Marlena celebrate milestones. Johnny asks Kate about a business matter. Alex, Stephanie, Jada, and Steve finalize a plan to catch the stalker. Rafe delivers disturbing news to Abe. Chanel reaches out to Sophia. Jennifer promises to help Chad. Johnny gives good news to Bonnie. Marlena puts Xander on notice. Sarah is honest with Brady. Kristen and Belle try to prep Rachel. Leo tries to get Dimitri out of his head. Gwen goes on the offense. If you were worried that Days of Our Lives had forgotten about the bones found in the crypt, this is your week. Days of Our Lives, spoilers for the week of 1 to 26 promise that Rafe will tell the DiMeras who those bones appear to belong to. I'm not sure yet how I feel about this, though it does seem to close the door on one rumor that I didn't want to come true. For months, there have been persistent rumors that Stefano would be resurrected using a new actor. I've preemptively ranted against this possibility. For me, Joe Mascolo is Stefano. Not literally, of course, but in the sense that he made the role so iconic that it wouldn't work with someone else saying the lines. For the moment, it seems we're safe from those rumors. If Days of Our Lives has finally decided to close the door on Stefano's return by revealing that his missing body has been in the crypt all this time, this is the perfect way to do that. Of course, people have visited the crypt several times since his death, and no one found a body or bones until the DiMeras were stuck there for a month. That's Salem for you, though. Plus, no one really had a reason to look too hard. The big question here is whether Stefano is truly dead, or whether his bones will be yet another fake-out. Stefano is the phoenix. After all, so bones don't mean anything. In fact, it's possible that someone used Peter to get everyone together so Rafe could do some weird science that resulted in using second-generation DiMera DNA to resurrect Stefano. For now, though, Stefano is gone permanently. We know EJ is up to something in that lab, and it involves Rafe and more mysterious experiments. A lot of people assumed he had Stefano in his pod and was working on resurrecting him, but that's clearly not the case. Days of Our Lives, spoilers for the week of 1/26 offer a clue. According to the spoiler video, Gwen says, "You brought the brats back to life?" Since Days of Our Lives has been making a lot of noise about the possibility that Stefan is dead, and he had a twin who also died, it seems logical to assume that those two are in the pod. Of course, that doesn't really make sense. Stefan has Jake's heart, so how can they both be alive? But Rafe can pretty much do anything he wants. It's Salem law. If Stefan/Jake is in that pod, he'll likely be a different actor, which is a shame because I liked Brandon Barash. Still, it's far better than an attempted Stefano recast. There are also persistent rumors that Lexi is in the pod, but she's only one person and not someone Gwen would even recognize. Never mind call a brat. Of course, Susan Banks also had 3 siblings, 2 of whom are dead. And I can't remember if Thomas Banks is alive and causing mischief, or got killed again. It certainly would be confusing if he returned while little Thomas DiMera is on canvas. But if you put that aside, it could be a fun twist. Though the only reason EJ would have any interest in the other Banks siblings is that they are his aunts and uncle, so that doesn't seem likely. Days of Our Lives, spoilers for the week of 1/26 promise plenty of EJ DiMera. Unfortunately, that also means the worst possible stories. Kristen's endless quest for revenge, and Gwen trying to play both sides at once. I have less than 0 interest in either of these stories, and the Kristen one is especially annoying. Kristen losing Peter and learning that Rachel was committed to Bayview after a violent incident could have been a turning point for her. She could have been forced to reckon with the fact that Rachel is on the same path that led to Peter's demise and become determined to help her get off it. She also could, and should, have realized what Sophia was up to, worked with Brady to protect Rachel without turning it into something romantic, and let this be the beginning of a new chapter in her life. But no, I forgot. In recent years, Days of Our Lives has operated under the belief that change is, more or less, impossible, and that characters like Kristen are only good for large-scale temper tantrums. For this reason, Kristen will put Sarah on notice this week, despite having told Brady that she didn't care about that relationship and wanted to stop Rachel from messing with people this way. Later in the week, she and Belle will try to prepare Rachel for giving her statement about the night of the shooting, which will be more interesting. Actress Jackie Harry revealed the dramatic results of her deep plane facelift this week. The surgery didn't just tighten up some loose skin or get rid of a few smile lines. They took decades off the Days of Our Lives star's appearance. Dr. Patrick Davis, the Beverly Hills plastic surgeon who performed Harry's surgeries, spoke to the Looker about the specific factors that led to her highly successful transformation. "She's an icon, and I did not want to change that a bit, Dr. Davis said of his famous patient. Harry's career spans 5 decades, including her role in the sitcom 227, for which she won an Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a comedy series in 1987. She went on to play Lisa Landry in Sister Sister, starring on the show for its entire 1994-1999 run. Since 2021, she has appeared on the long-running soap opera Days of Our Lives. Harry's results turned out so well because they looked natural, Dr. Davis said. The goal was to give her a lifted, rejuvenated look, not to give her an after photo that looked like a completely different person. The surgeon told the looker that using the deep plane technique allowed him to reset the tissues, the skin, and the structural elements that have fallen in the face and put them back where they were, for a natural, authentic look. Harry also underwent a lateral brow lift and fat transfer performed during the procedure. In Davis's Instagram post showing before and after photos of Harry's surgery, he noted that she is 3.5 months post-op, and that full healing will still likely be another 3 months away. The actress gave Entertainment Tonight a peek into the transformation process in the fall of last year as she geared up for the surgery, even allowing cameras to follow her as she walked down to the operating room in scrubs. The actress's curiosity about the procedure started after she lost weight. She said she wanted to get rid of her loose skin and felt inspired by other celebrity makeovers, like those of Ricki Lake and Kris Jenner, who have both openly spoken about their facelifts. They called it snatched, but I'm yanked, she joked. She emphasized that her decision to go under the knife was a long time coming. When you constantly want something that bad, you gotta do it. And I discovered I wanted it that bad, Harry said. When Entertainment Tonight asked what big, glamorous thing Harry wanted to do once fully healed, she answered bluntly, maybe walk down the aisle. Harry has been married twice. First, she was married to musician Jerry Jamot from 1980 to 1984, and 12 years later to hairstylist Elgin Charles from 1996 to 2003. If you're looking for similar results, the cost will vary widely depending on your location. Davis estimates deep plane facelifts can cost anywhere from $60,000 to $70,000 nationwide, though he's seen them go as high as $150,000 to $300,000 in New York. Days of Our Lives star Hank Northrop may be new to Salam, but he's been part of the soap world since he was born, as he's the son of General Hospital icon Lynn Herring and Days of Our Lives icon Wayne Northrop. The latter, who was the original Roman Bray on the Peacock soap, died in November 2024 after battling Alzheimer's disease. Considering his parents' legacy in the soap industry, it's no surprise that Northrop considers another soap legend a second mother to him. Speaking with Digital Journal, Northrop opened up about the late, great Jacqueline Zeman, revealing what a pivotal figure she was in his life. Jackie Zeman was like a second mom to me. I grew up with her 2 daughters, Cassidy and Lacey. They are my good friends. Jackie did such an amazing job raising them. My heart broke when I found out about Jackie's passing, he shared. The beloved actress spent over 45 years playing Bobby Spender on General Hospital before she died in 2023. Zeman was best friends with Northrop's mom, Herring, who has played Lucy Coe on the ABC soap for over 38 years. Jackie was just so kind, and she just lit up every room with her big smile and her positive energy. My mom was best friends with Jackie, and her daughters are just like her, the soap star added. Northrop hasn't been on Days of Our Lives very long, making his debut last October. However, he has appeared in only a handful of episodes of the Peacock soap since then, leaving fans confused about his character. The good news is that Northrop has revealed that fans' patience is about to pay off as Liam's story begins to unfold more. The latest preview for the show teases that Liam gets roped into the Alex and Stephanie stalker story. It also has Abe front and center, which means more scenes between Reynolds and Northrop. Reynolds was very good friends with Northrop's dad, both on and off screen. For fans, watching Wayne Northrop's son play opposite Reynolds is a real treat and gives them a sense of nostalgia for the good old days. General Hospital airs weekdays on ABC. Days of Our Lives airs weekdays on Peacock. After weeks of speculation, Days of Our Lives has revealed whose remains were found in the DiMera family crypt, and the truth hits closer to home for the DiMera family than anyone initially expected. In the show's weekly promo released on the official Days of Our Lives YouTube channel, Rafe Hernandez is seen questioning E.J. DiMera. During the exchange, E.J. states, "You know who the bones belong to which Rafe quickly responds, "The bones belong to your father," confirming the remains are those of Stefano DiMera. Stefano's on-screen absence has been as complicated as his life in Salem. Actor Joseph Moscolo died on December 8, 2016, and earlier that year, Hope Brady believed she had killed Stefano after suspecting him of being responsible for her husband Beau Brady's presumed death. That storyline stretched over a year and appeared to reach its conclusion in February 2016, when Shane Donovan and Steve Johnson staged an appearance of Stefano in order to exonerate Hope. However, upon reviewing photographs, Shane and Steve realized one of the appearances was not staged, leading them, and viewers, to believe Stefano was still alive. In 2019, Dr. Rolfe later revealed that Stefano had indeed died, but not before transferring his consciousness, referred to as his essence, into a microchip that was implanted in Steve Johnson. The resulting transformation, dubbed Stefano by fans, ultimately ended when the microchip was destroyed, seemingly wiping Stefano from existence once and for all. That closure was called into question in December 2025, when EJ, Kristen, Chad, Thaithio, and Tony were kidnapped by Stefano's adopted son, Peter Blake. While attempting to escape, the group discovered unidentified human remains hidden in the DiMera family crypt. Rafe has now confirmed those remains belong to Stefano. Fans had previously been tipped off during the show's Season 61 preview, which briefly featured a memorial for Stefano being held by his family. Who buried Stefano in the family crypt, and why was he not given a proper burial, remains a mystery, leaving fans to watch as the truth unfolds. The actress showcased her makeover and revealed she'd been vying to get the surgery for some time. In an interview with ET earlier this week, Jacquet gushed over the results and said she feels more like herself since going under the knife. "I see me. It was instant," the soap opera star said about seeing herself in the mirror after getting the procedure in September 2025 to address sagging skin and neck tissues following her 50-pound weight loss, credited to GLP-1 medication. In a previous sit-down with the outlet, Jackie admitted that she looked to other celebrities for plastic surgery inspiration, including Ricki Lake, who shocked fans after debuting the stunning results of her deep plane lower face and neck lift in June 2025. Other notable names the sister star said she admired for their post-facelift appearance are Kris Jenner, Jane Fonda, and Diane Carroll. Dr. Patrick Davis, a Beverly Hills facial plastic surgeon who performed Jackie's surgery, also weighed in on what the 4-hour-long procedure entails, including its steep price tag ranging from $40,000 to $250,000. While Jackie said she couldn't be happier with the results, she confessed that she struggled to feel comfortable in her skin. "I have body dysmorphia. No qualms about how old I am or who I am. This helps. It boosts it. It pushes it forward. So why not?" she revealed. She further discussed how the transformation has helped with her confidence during a recent chat with People. "I only look in the mirror about 1,000 times, every half hour," Jackie teased. "I'm totally satisfied. My neck and my chin. I mean, it's the bomb. I have no complaints. I still have some pain, but 6 more months, and I'll be perfect in terms of the swelling. But it looks good, and I'm still Jackie," she continued. "I definitely am more confident because I'll walk out now without thinking about that, whereas before, you couldn't get me to even take the trash out without makeup." Jackie also told the publication that she's no longer taking GLP-1 medication, and she doesn't plan to do so again in the future. The TV star has a recurring role on Days of Our Lives as Paulina Price, which she's held since March 2021. She also currently stars on the Netflix comedy A Man on the Inside, alongside Ted Danson, Mary Elizabeth Ellis, and Lila Rich Creek Estrada. Jackie is best known for her roles in the 1980s and 1990s, including the NBC sitcom 227 and Sister, Sister, opposite Tia and Tamara Mowry, Tim Reed, and Marcus Houston.